Okay, so we changed a lot of stuff in the last lesson, covered a lot. So I want to take this time to go more in depth and explain what divs are, what block elements are, inline elements are, and then unordered lists versus ordered lists, because you're going to see a lot of these when you're building websites. First off, if you noticed right here, we have this little section highlighted versus you don't see that anywhere on this site. So that's just a quick fix that we need to do. And see where it says class active, just delete that. So take out class active. Save it, go back over, reload the page, and we're all good. Okay? All right, now I want to go more into divs. So we talked about divs last time and said that they're like, newspaper articles and for a newspaper, and that they help, create sections of the site so that you can style them. So I want to give you a visual of what a div is. So what we're going to do, and I showed you this last time, is we're going to highlight this div here, the class of Jumbotron, and over here is all the HTML on the site. And the cool thing with this inspect element is over here on the right is all the CSS for the site. So you can see the CSS coming from that bootstrap.min.css file that we've linked to here, and you can see what line it's on. So remember how we edited the body in the custom.css file? Well, you're going to see it here. Body, custom.css, line 2. Line 2. So that's cool. You can see where the stylings coming from on your page. So let's highlight this Jumbotron div class here. And you'll see border. We're going to give it a border just so you can get a visual. Border 1px solid. Okay, so you see it highlighted, see it outlined here. Now let's do this div as well. We got a div here with a classic column medium. You can say border 1px solid. So you can see this div. All right. And remember we talked about earlier about parent elements and how everything within, like when you style a parent element, then it's all its child elements get affected. But for now, I want to show you this. So we have this Jumbotron, and then we have this container, which is within the Jumbotron. So let's give this a border. And anytime I make this, you make changes over here on the right. This is just temporary, so you can see them immediate on the site. When you reload the page, they'll all go away, which you'll see in a second. All right, so you got this container here. See, it's within the Jumbotron class. But the CSS, the styling of the container, all that the container is doing on this site is keeping everything within a width of 100, at this screen width of 1,170 pixels. Okay, so you have this div with a classic container here, and so everything within it, the H1, the paragraphs, are all within that width. You also, if you noticed, within the nav bar, we're going to have to do one border, our border 1px solid. We're going to have to do white so you can see it. See how it's lining up? And you also have another one down here. All right, so basically what this container is doing is keeping everything in line. You see how all these boxes line up? So that keeps it nice and styled. You don't have some pushed off to the left, pushed off to the right. And we'll go ahead and reload the page, and I'll show you what happens if we put it outside of that container. So we have this Jumbotron here. I'm going to put some text outside the container. Paragraph. This is outside container. All right, so you can see how it's now outside of this line here, and it's not a child element of that div with the classic container, so therefore it doesn't listen to its rule of width 1170 pixels. So then let's go ahead and change that back, get that out of there. And we talked and I showed you in the last lesson what it looks like if we take away the CSS. All right, so we talked about block elements and that divs help style block elements. You start to see here that list items li, it's a list item, is a block element. So you can see the who we are and they get involved are on separate lines. H1s are block elements, paragraph tags are block elements, H2s, all headings. Okay, but you see these two on the same line. The reason for this is buttons, or they're what we call inline elements. So buttons an inline element, a link, which is also an anchor tag or an A tag, is an inline element. And you can see it here in effect. See how there's a list item and an anchor tag here, and they're on one line. So you can have inline elements with block elements. So block elements go to the next line. Inline elements can be on the same line. And that's why you see this button and this anchor tag here with 1 million lines on the same line here. So, and then this right here, UL, is what we call an unordered list. So it says unordered list is starting here, and there's 2 list items in the unordered list, 1, 2, and then the unordered list closes here. And unordered list is like when you're in Word and you're doing bulleted lists, okay? And then the opposite of that, or the substitution of that would be an ordered list. So it's like when you're in Word and you're doing numbered list. List item 1. List item 2. So you can see list item 1, list item 2, numbered list, unordered list. And once again, list items are still block elements, so they go to the next line. All right, guys, so I'm glad we got to have some time to go into that. And next, well, first of all, let me put all this back so that no one's confused. Boom. Make this right. So we should be good to go. The cool thing as we learn about divs and block elements, inline elements, and how to style them in the coming lessons, that you're going to be able to make these divs look however you want them. So you're going to be able to make nav bars that look however you want, and you're going to have increased flexibility for all the different types of sites you can create. So we've learned about divs, block elements, inline elements in this section. Learned about the container class here in Bootstrap. And next we're going to start creating this top section to look like the 1 million line site here.